top part, and it does all the basic chemistries to include the electrolytes, which are sodium, potassium chloride, and carbon dioxide. That's the main things it does. It also does blood sugar or glucose. Probably heard that term. It does the kidney tests that are called BUN and creatinine. Those are kidney function indicators. And there's some tests for the liver, the total bilirubin, alkaline phosphatase, AST, are those all terms you've heard yet?
What are the AST?
The AST and ALT can be associated with the liver primarily, but other organs as well. There's total protein and albumin, calcium, amylase, lipase, and these are just, it does certain calculations for you, such as the anion gap, the globulin, the albumin globulin ratio. So this is it's pretty all-inclusive of the basic chemistry tests that are done as part of any panel.
So this twin is just for urine.
Amphetamines, barbiturates, benzos, or benzodiazepine when it's a big long word, cocaine, opiates, THC, which is the marijuana metabolite, and then that's the top 6, and we also test for oxycodone just because the doctors want it. It's not included on that panel, so we actually do it separate. So we actually do 7, and 6 on the panel and an oxy. All together, you load your specimen here, your reagents are going to be hidden back in here. Back in here is a whole wheel of little cuvettes and massive amount of probes back in there, the moving parts. And what they'll do is they'll come forward, everything's barcoded, it knows where everything is. The probes will come over, pick up the sample, put it into a cuvette, come and get the reagent that it needs, mix it with the sample, keeps it all at 37 degrees, which simulates body temperature. That's where most of the reactions happen. The reagents, it keeps refrigerated so that they stay nice and stable, but at intervals that only it knows about, everything's just precisely timed. It knows when to mix, when to stir, when to incubate, when to read. And when it's all done, it sends the result over to the host computer or over to the instrument computer, and it transmits to a host computer over here. And you get a printout, and the screen will also let you know your patient's done. And if you needed to fax this report to the doctor, you could, but most of the time they just look in the computer or in the portal. They get the results, and it's pretty instantaneous. From the time you load a big chemistry profile, it'll do its business for about anywhere from 12 to 20 minutes, and it's going to be done, and we're going to have the result in the ER if all goes well. So that is chemistry in a nutshell. Side positions are designated as routine.
Okay.
And some of these inner positions are reserved for calibrators, controls, materials that's used just to maintain the instrument and check that it's working properly. And certain of the positions are for stat patients. And on this particular one, sections 101 through 108 are our stat positions. And anytime you put anything into those positions, it knows to give that priority. Just based on the position.
So 101 through 108?
Yeah, on this particular one, 101 through 108 is our stat positions, and as you can see, that's pretty much the ones we use over and over and over.
Yeah.
Because we don't have huge batches and runs of work coming in like a bigger lab would. A bigger lab would have probably all these full out here if they were coming in by the rack, but like I say, we send most of our outpatient work out. So the few we do get are stats, and we just keep using these same positions. And also, to save paper, they've got this set up to where it doesn't just print a report on everything. It only prints it on the stat people. And so if you want a paper report you can hold in your hand and look at, you need to use one of these holes. Otherwise you're not going to get a written report. But from here on out I have to tell it exactly what I want it to do. So if you want to take the mouse, just double click on test selection. Right there where it's gray. Okay, now click on stat. Now the cursor jumps over to the sample ID and we're going to have to manually put in this barcode. So it's N3057 50409. Okay, hit enter. Okay, it brings up your menu. Here's all the things you can pick from. There's all the individual tests, but for convenience, we have compiled it down here in a basic metabolic panel, a comp, a liver, a renal, and we're going to choose a comp because that's what they want. Okay. Now go to demographics. Okay, just click on the name field. We're just going to put education. Critical results have to be called to the nurse or the doctor. Some licensed personnel. Can't just be like the rescue squad guy down there. Can't be ward clerk. It has to be licensed personnel, and you have to call it, and you have to have them read it back to you, and you have to document both that you called it and that they verified it, and you have to date and time it. And they have built some shortcuts in the computer, some canned phrases, like if you type in CBC, that means critical, verify, callback, and it will blow out a comment and just let you fill in the blanks, who you spoke to, when, and that way it's all documented in the computer, and the inspectors will look for that when they come in. And it also prints it on the report. It will be printed on the report, so it's called too.
Do you have to repeat any critical tests?
That's after each lab. Back in the day, criticals were repeated as a manner of standard operating procedure. Not so much anymore because the machines are just so much better. They're so much more reliable. And you can set the machine to automatically rerun any criticals if you want to. And some labs do that. Like if you get glucose of over 500, you can have it automatically set to recheck that. But it really delays your turnaround time.
Yeah.
Because if you've told it to run it twice before it reports it, you're going to be standing there waiting. You might can see it on the screen, but it won't release it. The doctor won't see it, and you're standing there waiting for it to read. This one does troponin and CKMB, which are cardiac markers for heart attack diagnoses in the ER. It also does the quantitative HCGs, which is a pregnancy marker that gives you an actual number. Quantitative usually means a number. Qualitative is just going to mean positive or negative. So this is a quantitative HCG. And then we also do CNAT tail, which is a test that's used to diagnose congestive heart failure. It's actually called